Good day and welcome. Today, we begin an exciting journey into the events that shaped World War II. In this episode, we'll explore how Germany's struggles after World War I paved the way for Hitler and the Nazi Party to rise to power. Here's a thought-provoking question for you. Do you think Germany was treated fairly after World War I? Why or why not? Share your answer in the comments below. Stick around until the end for some challenging questions to test your understanding. See how well you've grasped the material and boost your confidence along the way. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video if you're excited about this series. Subscribe so you never miss our weekly uploads. Let's get started. Although Germany was defeated in World War I, the Germans remained very proud of their country. The Allies, Britain, France, the USA, and later Italy, blamed Germany for the war and created a peace treaty that sought to punish Germany. This treaty was to cause many problems for Germany and the rest of Europe and would eventually lead to World War II. World War I lasted longer than anyone had expected. The autocratic ruler of Germany at the time was Emperor Kaiser Wilhelm II. He was overthrown in November 1918 and sent into exile in Holland, the Netherlands. His abdication was largely forced due to the pressure of revolution and military defeat. Abdication is when a king, queen, or ruler gives up their throne and power willingly or under pressure. This means they step down and no longer rule the country. After Wilhelm II was removed, he was replaced by a government that promised to be democratic. Germany was no longer a monarchy but a republic. This new government was known as the Weimar government or Weimar Republic, and it decided to approach the Allies about ending the war. The German army surrendered despite the fact that many German army generals did not want to do so. An armistice is an agreement between enemies in war to stop fighting so they can discuss peace terms. After the armistice was signed, a meeting of the leaders of the countries that won the war took place, where they discussed and wrote down a peace treaty. The countries that won the war wanted revenge on Germany and sought to make Germany pay for the damage caused to their countries during the war. The German government was not invited to the peace conference, which was held in 1919 at the Versailles Palace, just outside Paris, France. The Allies drew up the terms of the peace treaty and decided that Germany was to blame for starting World War I and should be punished. They also used the opportunity to weaken Germany so that it could never fight another war. Germany's punishment was contained in the terms of the Treaty of Versailles. The Weimar Republic was the government that signed the Treaty of Versailles and the armistice, which officially marked Germany's surrender to the Allies. The Germans referred to the Treaty of Versailles as a diktat because they were forced to sign it without any negotiation. The treaty was imposed on them by the victorious Allied powers after World War I. Germany was not allowed to participate in the discussions at the Versailles Conference and had to accept harsh terms, including territorial losses, military restrictions, and heavy reparations. This made the treaty seem like a dictated peace rather than a fair agreement. Many Germans felt betrayed and humiliated, and this resentment would later play a role in the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. The Treaty of Versailles placed severe punishments on Germany after World War I. These punishments had devastating effects on the country, leading to economic struggles, territorial losses, military restrictions, and national humiliation. One of the key punishments was that Germany was forced to pay reparations for all war damages. The amount was so large that after making just one payment, Germany became bankrupt. This put extreme pressure on the German economy, causing poverty and hardship for many German citizens. Another major punishment was that Germany had to give up all its colonies in Africa and also lost land in Europe. In addition, Germany was forbidden from uniting with German-speaking Austria. The loss of colonies meant that Germany had fewer raw materials to support its industries, making economic recovery even harder. As a result of the territorial losses, many Germans found themselves living in other countries such as Poland and Czechoslovakia, which created resentment. Germany also faced strict military restrictions under the treaty. The size of the German army was reduced to only 100,000 men, and Germany was not allowed to have submarines, tanks, or planes. The navy could only be one-third the size of Britain's, and no German troops were allowed in the Rhineland, a region bordering France. Since Germany had a strong military tradition, this was a huge blow to German pride. Nearly all German men had served in the army, so this restriction also led to mass unemployment. The Rhineland was an important industrial area in Germany, rich in coal and other resources that helped power factories and the military. The Treaty of Versailles banned Germany from putting troops there to weaken its military power and prevent another war. This also made France feel safer since Germany could not easily attack across the border. Finally, Germany had to accept full responsibility for starting World War I under the War Guilt Clause. Many Germans felt this was unfair, as they believed other countries also played a role in causing the war. This clause, along with the other punishments, created anger and resentment among the German people. The harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles left Germany weakened, humiliated, and economically unstable. This contributed to the rise of extreme political movements, including the Nazi Party, which promised to undo the treaty and restore Germany's power. Between 1918 and 1923, Germany faced a desperate situation, and many Germans lost faith in the Weimar government. Frustrated by economic struggles and political instability, they began searching for alternatives. Several new political parties emerged, including the Nazi Party, National Socialist German Workers' Party, which was led by Adolf Hitler. Hitler had once been a poor postcard seller on the streets before World War I broke out in 1914. He eagerly joined the German army and served as a soldier, but after the war ended, he felt bitter and angry about how Germany had been treated by the Allies in 1919. Rather than simply complain, he decided to take action. In 1919, he joined a small nationalist political party, which later became known as the Nazi Party. By 1921, Hitler had taken control of the party and became its leader. The Nazis gained support from ex-soldiers, businessmen, and others who resented the Treaty of Versailles, but the party was still not very popular because of its violent reputation. Hitler established armed groups of supporters who wore brown uniforms, earning them the nickname Brown Shirts. Officially, they were called the Sturmabteilung, SA, or Stormtroopers. The SA organized marches, parades, and rallies, displaying the swastika as their symbol. Their motto was, "All opposition must be stamped into the ground." The SA had no restrictions on violence, frequently attacking and beating those who opposed the Nazis. In 1923, Hitler mistakenly believed he had enough support to overthrow the German government. He led a failed revolt in Munich, one of Germany's major cities. This event became known as the Munich Putsch, or Revolt. The attempted takeover failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to 5 years in Landsberg prison, though he only served 9 months. While in prison, he wrote his book Mein Kampf, My Struggle, outlining his vision for Germany. In Mein Kampf, Hitler promoted several key ideas. He promised to make Germany a great power again and establish the Third Reich, or the Third German Empire. He rejected the Treaty of Versailles and vowed to take back lost German land. He blamed the Jews for Germany's economic and political problems. He believed in creating a superior master race of Germans. Despite his radical beliefs, Hitler and the Nazi Party struggled to gain support in the mid-1920s. The German economy improved, and the Weimar government became more stable after the Dawes Plan, where America lent money to Germany. As a result, the Nazis remained weak. By 1928, the Nazi Party only won 12 out of 491 seats in the German parliament. As long as Germany's economy improved, the Nazis remained unpopular. The political situation for the Nazis changed drastically in 1929 with the start of the Great Depression. In the 1920s, the United States of America was the world's strongest economy, and its financial system was controlled by the stock exchange on Wall Street in New York. However, in October 1929, the stock market collapsed, causing a massive financial crisis. People who had invested in the stock market lost everything overnight, leading to a worldwide economic depression. Trade slowed down, factories and mines closed, and millions of people lost their jobs across the world. This is known as the Great Depression. Germany was hit particularly hard because its economy depended on loans from the USA. When the Great Depression began, America withdrew its financial support, causing German factories and businesses to shut down. As a result, millions of people lost their jobs, and the economic crisis worsened. Despite these struggles, Germany still had to pay reparations from World War I and repay its debt to the USA. By 1932, over 6 million German workers were unemployed, and many people were starving. The Weimar government struggled to deal with the crisis, but Germans lost confidence in their leaders and began looking for new political parties to solve their problems. This created an opportunity for Hitler and the Nazis, who promised to restore Germany's strength and economy. Germany had never experienced a democratic government before 1919. It had always been ruled by kings or emperors, who held absolute power. As a result, when the Weimar government was established, its politicians lacked experience in governing a democracy and made significant mistakes. In this new system, all citizens over the age of 20 could vote, and there were separate elections for the Reichstag, Parliament, and the President, head of state. The Chancellor, who led the parliament, was responsible for the day-to-day administration of the country. However, the Weimar government struggled to address Germany's economic problems. Many Germans lost faith in democracy, believing that the system was ineffective and that the government could not be trusted. German nationalists, in particular, blamed the Weimar leaders for signing the Treaty of Versailles, labeling them as traitors. The German constitution also granted the president special emergency powers, allowing him to make decisions without consulting parliament when necessary. As economic crises worsened, President Paul von Hindenburg increasingly relied on these powers, gradually diminishing the influence of parliament. This weakened the democratic system, creating an opportunity for extremist parties to gain support. The Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, took advantage of the growing dissatisfaction with the Weimar government. They promised to restore Germany's strength, overturn the Treaty of Versailles, and bring stability to the country. As democracy weakened and economic hardships continued, more Germans turned to radical solutions, allowing the Nazis to rise to power. As time went on, public support for the Nazi Party grew. Several reasons explained this public support of the Nazi Party. As conditions in Germany got worse between 1929 and 1933, people began listening more to the Nazis. They promised law and order, to create jobs, to unify the German people and make Germany a strong power again. Hitler promised to destroy the terms of the Versailles Treaty. These were all things the Germans wanted. These promises appealed to a population struggling with economic hardship and political instability. The Nazis worked hard to spread their message. They used newspapers, radio, posters, and public meetings. Joseph Goebbels was in charge of propaganda. He used the mass media to influence people into believing that everything the Nazis said was true. The use of mass media had never been done before, and it was easy to get people to believe in Hitler's ideas because he was saying what they wanted to hear. Hitler himself was a powerful public speaker, capable of inspiring large crowds with his speeches. While Hitler was a good public speaker, he also used his stormtroopers to deal with opposition. They would intimidate other political parties by turning up at their meetings. By 1930, the Nazis had gained 107 seats in parliament, a great improvement on the 12 they had in 1928. By 1932, the Nazi Party had become the largest political party in Germany, winning 230 seats in the Reichstag. However, this accounted for only 37% of the total vote, meaning they still lacked an outright majority. Hitler also attempted to win the presidential election but was defeated by Paul von Hindenburg. Despite this loss, Hitler remained focused on his ultimate goal, becoming Chancellor. Initially, President Hindenburg was hesitant to appoint Hitler as Chancellor. However, political leaders convinced him that forming a stable government without Nazi support was impossible. As a result, in January 1933, Hindenburg reluctantly appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. One of Hitler's first actions as Chancellor was to call for another election in March 1933, hoping to secure an absolute majority. This election marked the final step in the Nazis' rise to power, as they used intimidation, propaganda, and violence to strengthen their control over Germany. One of the Nazis' biggest opponents was the Communist Party. In February 1933, the Reichstag building was set on fire. A Dutch communist named Marinus van der Lubbe was found near the scene, carrying a Communist Party membership card. As a result, the Communists were blamed for the fire. However, some accounts suggest that van der Lubbe was mentally unstable and that the Nazis may have started the fire themselves to discredit the Communist Party. Hitler used the fire as an opportunity to claim that a communist revolution had begun in Germany. However, in the March 1933 elections, the Nazis were still unable to secure an outright majority, winning only 44% of the vote, 288 seats in the Reichstag. To increase their control, the Nazi SA stormtroopers arrested 81 communist members of parliament, effectively removing their opposition. This increased the percentage of Nazi-held seats. To further solidify their power, the Nazis then formed a coalition with the German National Party, giving them a majority of 51% in parliament. This marked a crucial turning point in Hitler's rise to absolute power, as it allowed the Nazis to pass laws without opposition and eliminate their remaining political enemies. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, blamed Germany for World War I and imposed severe punishments to weaken the country. These strict terms caused resentment among Germans. Germany faced severe economic hardships in the period following the Great Depression. The failure by government to solve the economic crisis led many people to lose faith in the Weimar Republic. The democratic system was weakened in the Weimar Republic. The Nazi Party took advantage of these crises by using powerful propaganda, led by Joseph Goebbels, and Hitler's skill as a charismatic public speaker to gain public support. The SA stormtroopers intimidated political opponents, and after the Reichstag Fire in 1933, the Nazis blamed the Communists, leading to the arrest of 81 Communist MPs. This allowed Hitler to consolidate power, form a majority with the German National Party, and take full control of Germany. That is all for today. Before we conclude, please attempt answering the following questions before the answers pop up. You can pause the video as you go. Let us meet again next time and discuss further on how Germany descended into fascism. Be sure to check the link in the description for more. Do not forget to like and subscribe so that you do not miss our weekly updates. Otherwise, thank you for watching and keep well.